Hello and welcome, guys. Today we are going to be making a video after almost a month. It's been more than 1 month since I last posted a video. Um, Today, what we are going to build is this is what we are going to make today. This is a toast maker, you can say. You can There are 4 different kinds of toasts. You can create one with success toast, error toast, info toast, or warning toast. All of them have different color schemes and different icons with them. So this will be global, so you can use it anywhere inside your app. So what I have at the moment is basically this very simple markup of page. It has 4 buttons, and all of them are different colored. The idea is, whenever we click one of these, we should see a different toast from either side of the screen. So at the moment, what they do is nothing more than just printing out whatever the toast we are going to expect from each of these buttons. If we look at the code, what we have at the moment is basically the boilerplate app that we get from Create React app. I have added a simple page that we saw earlier here. Example, it only has 4 buttons, and all of these buttons are calling in this create toast function and passing in a string basically, and we are just console logging that up here. Apart from that, I have some basic CSS here that we are seeing here. Basically, the CSS for all these buttons, and all of the whatever you are seeing here is in here. Then we have some a basic structure ready to make the toast component. Basically, I have a components folder, then I have inside the toast folder, and this is where we are going to be working in order to create our reusable component. It is empty at the moment. There's nothing inside here, only a basic div. And I forgot to mention, we are going to use the style components. So to start with, let's close this app.css. Let's keep this open. This is the index.tsx for our toast component. At the moment, there is nothing inside it. Let's do first thing first. Let's create context for our toast component so that we can use it throughout our app. So what we are going to do is we are going to create. Let's first make folders inside contexts, and there will be one more folder which will be providers. So inside the contexts, let's create a file. We will call that toast context.ts. To create a context, basically what you need to do is we will use create context from React, not from VM, from React, and then we are going to create our context, which will be named as toast context, and we are going to obviously be exporting that, and we'll just create context, and let's say that to create a context, what we need is basically a initial value, right? So to have that initial value, let's go to our toasts, and inside the helper, let's create types. Let's create some files. One will be types.ts, and another will be, let's call them constants.ts, and let's also have an index.ts, so to export all of the stuff from both our files, all from the context, constants, and all from types. Save this. I misspelled from, and let's go to our types first. And so we are going to need a type for context, right? So let's create an interface, toast context. So what are we going to have inside the toast component? So we are going to have a list of toasts. So we'll call this toast list, and it will be an array of something that we will call toast, a type of toast, right? And the next thing will be set toast list, basically the two things that we get from the use state, and the type of this will be react.dispatch. This is a dispatcher function, and what it does is it sets state action, and it is going to set what state. We will mention this here. It will be an array of I toast, and I think we are good to go. Let's create our the I toast interface. Toast, and inside the toast, what we are going to have a type which will be a string, and then we will have some title for our toast, which will also be a string, and then there will be the message of the toast, right? So this is the bare minimum that we will be needing for now. Let's now go here and import the toast context toast I toast context from our helpers file, and then we'll just tell this create context that we are going to have this type of context, and inside here we will have to have a toast list, which will basically be an empty array. This should basically be an empty array, right? And then there will be set toast list, which will be a function which will do something and we will not have anything inside here. So this is basically our context for the toast that will go inside the providers, and we'll create a toast provider.ts. basically this will be tsx, since we will be needing JSX inside this one. So let's go here, use something with the toast provider, and we'll also be importing the toast context from our context file that we created earlier, and we'll remove this div, and we will basically have this toast context provider here, and it will have some value which we will be assigning it in a while. And obviously we will be having the children JSX elements here, and we will be rendering them out here. So for that we will have to create an interface for the props. You can say toast provider props, or okay, whatever you want to name it. This will have children, which will basically be react.react node, right? So, and then we will have to tell this that this is a React functional component with this props. It should not give us that error, right? And then now it is giving us the error on value because it doesn't know what value is. So let's go ahead and create the basically toast list, and set toast list from our use state from React. And initially this will just be an empty state, empty array of iToasts, and this is for some reason giving me obviously should be an array. Okay, and then we will have our value object, and this value object will have toast list and set toast list inside it, and it should now not here, this should be value, and children should go in here. Okay, now it's okay. So we now have the provider ready, so we can now go to our app.tsx. we can import app we are going to import toast provider here, and then we will have toast provider here, and basically all the complete app should go inside this, because we want to be able to create toast from anywhere inside our app. So it should also have our toast component from our components, so that we can render stuff. So whatever we render inside, so whenever we are going to make a toast, it will be rendered inside this toast component. So let's now move forward and go inside, because we are getting some error. Let's go inside our constants file and have something exported from here. Something, let's say temp is equal to 5, just so we can get rid of this error. Okay, so before we move forward, let me tell you two things. I'm going to use React style components, and I'm also going to use the React icons, and I have also installed both of these dependencies types, since we are using TypeScript. So you should also install it if you're following through. Let's now import some stuff from the React icons. We are going to use FA check icon, we are going to use FA times icon, we are going to use FA info circle icon, and we are going to use FA exclamation what was it called, circle, from React icons. It should be React icons / FA. All of these are coming from the font awesome library React icons. We are also going to create something here that will be let me go back to our stuff here. So what do we have here? This is basically we are going to have 4 different kinds of toast, and all of those will have different kind of styling to them, right? So for success, we are going to have this you can say icon inside it. For error, we are going to have the times icon. For info, we are going to have this icon. So for that, we are going to create a kind of a map to keep track of which one should we be using. You will be able to you should be you should get an idea what I'm doing once we in a little while. So whenever we are going to make a success component, success toast, the color of that will be the same that I have here. The color scheme will be same. So the color that I have chosen is, I have already saved that, 47D764, kind of greenish. And for this, the logo or icon will be FA check icon. So that's that 47D764. Okay, so this is now giving me an error because I'm trying to use the JSX here, so we'll have to change this extension to TSX. Okay, so this will be the success one, and then we will have 3 similar ones. This will be for error. We are going to have the color scheme of FF5670, and we are going to have FA times icon here, and then we will have info, and we need commas here, otherwise we'll keep getting errors. Then for info, we are going to use something bluish, 2D8CF0, that is this one. And for warning, we are going to use something, let's remove this. We're going to use D59F16. Okay, so obviously we will be changing the icons also. This will have info circle, this will have exclamation circle. Okay, so we are going to be using this, but before I move forward, I want to make okay, I'll come back to that later. So it's about time that we go to our toast component and start doing stuff there. Let's go to our toast component, which is this one. At the time, let's close everything for now. Let's just open this index.tsx and also our styled components. So at the moment, what do we have? What I have here, I have the toast wrapper. This is basically a div that I have imported in here, and I'm at the moment I have test toast component inside it just to show that we are I'm in this component. So, but we will not be needing that, right? What we will be doing is we will first import the what did we have? We had toast context from there, and we will have use context as well as use state from our React, and then what are we going to have? We are going to have the toast list that we created context for earlier, set toast list, and we will get that from the context we created earlier. Then we will have a list of our own, which we will manipulate in this component right here. List, set list, and this will just be the use state, and this will not be the curly braces. This should be around square brackets, because this is an array destructuring, not the object destructuring. And this use state should have, I think I should give it the type. Yeah, I think I should give it a type. This will be an array of toast basically, and then we will just point this out. This also needs more of this here. So this is basically we also need the use effect. So whenever this component is rendered, when do we want to render this component? That's the first thing that we need to ask. This is the toast list that we will be setting sending the toast in from our app. So the first thing that we want to do is whenever our toast list changes, we want to we want to change this list, right? And we can do that by set list, and we'll just destructure our toast list here. Since they are both of the same type, we can do this. So whenever our toast list changes, that we can change from anywhere inside our app because we have the context. So whenever it changes, this use effect will run, and we'll set this list whatever values, whatever objects at that time will be inside the toast list. And once we have that, we can then just map over this list that we have here, list.map, and then this basically which will give us a couple of things. It should have inside it some toast and then indexes. I'll be using this index for the key, for the keys. Otherwise we don't need this. So what do we need? We will need type and title and message from our toast, right? And then according to that type, whatever type we have, we will choose one of the 4 color and icon scheme, right? So for example, how can I do that? So let's import this toast map in here. I think this should be automatically imported. Color icon toast map, right? Yeah, automatically imported from here, and I should just be able to pass it the type, and it should give me the okay. So that is what I wanted to clear up before. The error is basically this doesn't know what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to pass in a string to this toast map to this object, and I'm trying to access one of these, but at the moment this doesn't have any keys that are strings. If I hover over it, you can see that this has success, but it doesn't say this is a string. Since we are using TypeScript, we have to tell it that what this is, basically what this success is, what this thing is. Is it a string? Is it something else? Whatever this is, we have to explicitly define that. So we can go back to our types, and we can create something that is more rigid than just having the a loose object, right? So we can have something like this, toast map, a type of toast map. And what we can do is we can say that key will be string, and then it will have color inside it. It will be mapped to an object which will have color inside it. It will be an object, and it will have an icon inside it, which will be basically a React element, right? So but this will work if I import it inside here. Import, no, not here, we'll have import it here. Import toast map from here, and then if I tell this that this is toast map, now this error should go away, right? Because now we have told that we have defined this explicitly, that whatever the keys inside this are all strings. But we can go one step further, and we can create something for this key, because at the we want to we should limit our users to develop for our developers to not pass in type of anything other than this 4, right? So what we can do is we can have a union type, which we can name toast map key, and this should have inside it info. Let's just keep the same order, error and info and warning. And now what I can say is I can remove this from here, and I can say toast map key. So now what I'm telling it is that this toast map will have keys of only these 4 types. If I go to my constants and I try to add ABCD, and this will give me an error, because ABCD does not exist in type toast map, right? So this is more rigid, less prone to error. We don't have to check for sanitize the data before we process our toast here. But now we have some small kind of error here, but we can solve this. No problem. How can we solve this? Basically, this type has a string type, right? And it is coming from toast, which is set inside this toast list. So we should we now go back to this type. We see that this type should not be a string now. It should be toast map key, right? Toast map. It should be one of these toast map key, and now this error should go away. And so what we have created is basically a very rigid, less prone to error map, which will have only 4 types. If you want to add some other type, we can come here in our types, we add that here, and then we go back here and add that here. But for now, this should work. And once we have all the things, we can basically go and create our component. So what I have written here is a simple markup. Let's now create all of these components, styled components, inside our styled file. So here we have a simple markup for a complete, you can say, the toast object, a toast component, right? What we are doing here is we have a toast component. We are mapping over our array, and we are setting all the things here. We'll be receiving this icon from our constants based on whatever type we have provided it. And then we are going to render it over here. Then we have some message and a title and a message. Then we have a button which will have an on click, but we haven't written that yet. So let's go ahead and what do we do? I think we should be able to, what we need to do now is we should go to our example, and we should create a simple toast here, right? So how can we do that? We can say import so I have imported the use context hook from React, some types from what we created earlier, and the context for our list of um, toast. Let's destructure that very quickly. So what I'm doing here is I'm creating a new toast with whatever I'll press the button here. It will pass in the type of that toast. I'm creating a random title and random message, and it should create that random toast, right? If I go here, if I create this, we should see the respective toast. What we are seeing when we create success, we are seeing a different icon, and we have for error different, for info for a different icon, and for warning a very different icon, right? So when we refresh, it should go away because it is a state and it is not saved across refreshes, and we don't need that, right? So after that, let's now move to the styling of our toast. So this is a toast wrapper. So this is the toast wrapper. Basically, wherever we are going to place this wrapper, they will appear. All these toasts will appear there. If I save this, it should go to the bottom here, and it is now independent of whatever the markup we have on the page, because this is positioned absolute. Next for the toast. So this is for our toast component, the whole thing, the whole package. So one thing that I want to point out here is this is I have picked a color which is green here. If I change this to red, this is appearing red, and this we are going to change this with respect to the type of our toast, right? For error, this should be red. For success, this should be green. For info, this should be whatever the color those are. But for now, we have simply set that, right? And we also need animation for this, because we don't want it just to appear on the screen, right? We want it to be like, for example, sliding from the left side here. So we'll add that animation. So what we have done here is we have created an animation that is, first of all we have pasted this 500 pixel off the screen, right? From here, 500 pixel in the negative, that is going off the screen. Then what we are doing here is we are bringing that to 0 pixels, and then we are sending it back to the 500 pixel point. If I create toast, it should appear here, and then it should go back in 5 seconds, right? But there is one thing wrong here. If I change this, let's say like this, you see all my toasts are here. They are not being deleted at the moment, so we will have to fix that later. But for now, let's just assume that it is working perfectly. So whenever we click this, it should appear, and then it should go back, right? So let's now move to our next thing, that is the container one, which has the logo inside it. Let's which has this logo inside it. Basically, let's style that. So we have done the styling for our this icon basically here. So what are we going to do? One thing that I want to mention here also is this background color. This should change with the with this one, right? If we are going to create a success toast, it should not appear red, it should appear green. So we are going to handle that dynamically later, but for now we are going to just style our stuff. Let's now move ahead to the container 2, which has the title and the message inside it. So for the container 2, we basically we just want to space it from our both the icons and just position it in the center. Let's now style our title and message. We have now styled our title and also the message. We have given it different font size and widths so that they appear better. Let's also decrease this a little. I think this is way too much, or not. Oh, this up left, right. Okay. Okay, this looks better. This looks good, I think. I think we should also give this some padding from top to bottom so that it doesn't like shrink very small size. Okay, the last thing that we have now is the button, this close button. Let's now style that. So we now have styled our the close button. Why does it not have the? Okay, it has. So what we did basically just remove the border and made it transparent from the background and just increase the size of it a little bit. So the only thing that now remains is basically the colors that we are going to pass in from here, right? From our from our index.tsx, which is the our toast component. So we can pass when we are using the style component, we can pass in some props like this. We'll be passing in color for our toast, which we will be using to style this, and then we will be passing in our color for this also. I think is it the no, not this one. We are going to pass in this content color, this color. So now what we can do is we can go back to our styling file, and rather than having this red, what we will do is we will basically use that prop that we passed in props. All the props that we pass in to our style components are inside this props object, and we can get that with the name like this. So whatever we are going to pass in from here, from our type, from our toast, we will get it inside our style component. We can then use this thing, these props, to style that or style those. We also needed to change the this one. Okay, so I think this is it. Let's now check. When we click error, we are getting a red one. When we click the info button, we are getting a red one. When we click warning, we should get something like orangish or brownish, right? So that's done. So the only thing that is remaining now is we need some way to delete these toasts after we have used them, right? So we can create another use effect for that. And for this one, we are going to pass in two dependencies basically. One will be the toast list itself, and then there will be the list that we have in here. Okay, so what we are going to do in here is we are first going to check whether or not our list has something inside it, length, and also our toast list has something inside it. So this will basically give us if any of them have one, if both of them have at least one element inside it, this will be true, and we will go inside this element, and if then we will check whether or not our toast list has an element message inside it, and if it has some message, we are going to just simply delete this toast with a function, and we will pass in something to identify that particular toast, and we'll just pass in that a message to this. What we do in here then, let's create that function delete toast, and it will receive a message which will be a string. We just need to filter out our list. We'll create a new list, and it will basically be list dot filter, and how do we want to filter it? It will have a toast inside it, and we want to return every toast whose message is not exactly the same as our current one, right? Like this one, and then we just set in new toast list here with this new list. So this is basically what we are going to do. We are going to check whenever something changes, we are going to delete that, but this will instantly delete that. We don't want that. What we want is we want it to delete after it has completed all its animation, right? It should come here and then go back, but at this time, whenever I'm clicking it, it is making that, but it is instantly deleting that. So how can we prevent that? We can use the set timeout, set interval function, interval id set timeout. So how can we do that? We can then do all of these things inside here, and we also will pass in something like 5,000. Because we have the animation for 5 seconds, we pass in 5,000 milliseconds in here, and once we have done that, we'll also remove this interval, this timeout from our cache with this clear timeout. So it should now appear, go back, and be deleted. Okay, so this has something to do with this. I forgot to do this. So what we are going to do is basically you can see if this animation was longer, we should be able to see properly. We see this toast goes in and it gets deleted. It should be 4. It should be smaller than that one, right? It comes here, goes back, I see it here, and then it is deleted. So basically, if it is off screen, we will not be able to see this, but it will be deleted. Let's make this a little bit. You see, we have all of these toasts, and then they go back, and then they get deleted. We don't have a bunch of you can say toasts, and we don't just keep filling that. We keep deleting those also, because we don't need them. So this is how basically you can use your toast whenever you want to use it inside your app. You just basically get the this context, and then you create a new toast whenever you want to. For example, you want to wherever you want to do it, right? So this is what we created today. I hope you liked it, and I hope you learned something from it. Let's hope to see you again sometime soon, not like a month ago like the last time. Thank you for watching. Keep watching, subscribe to the channel, comment, like, whatever you want to do to help out our channel. Thank you. Goodbye.